What's up, guys? We're back with Jolly Bait Company today. We're going to show you guys a video that we've been planning on doing for a while. We gotten tons of emails and messages about doing a beginner video, how to get into soft plastics. And it's an expensive thing to do, but we're going to show you guys the cheap things you could possibly get if you wanted to just get into it to make some for yourself. Show you guys the plastic we use, the molds, the equipment that you need, and other stuff like that. We might not do it some way that some of you guys do it. Some of you guys are probably experienced just as much as I am or more, and you probably do it a different way. But I'm going to show you guys the way that I do it, and so let's get into it, and I'll show you guys. First, we're going to show you guys the plastic. All right, so as you can guess, plastic is the most important thing to have. It can get a little pricey, but the best place that I get it from, I think, is called Dead On Plastics. And this is a 5-gallon bucket right here. You can get them in 1 gallon. You can get different like blends. This right here is the swim bait, jerk bait blend. It's like the medium blend. So that's what I use mostly. There are other companies you can get them from. There's cheaper probably too. And but I just think that's the best one. And here's one of them. And what you want to see in this one, I haven't used this in a while. So you see how it's separated. You want to like shake it up and mix them together really good before using it. Because if you don't, then you're really just going to have a mess, is what I've heard. I've not done it before because you're not supposed to, but you're going to have a mess if you don't mix it up good. But for plastic, that's what, I'll put the link in the description to this right here, so you guys can get this if you want to. There's 1 gallon too that you can just try out. Maybe like, I think it's like $25, maybe something like that. But yeah, let's get to the equipment now. You guys can stick around to the end. We're going to do a demonstration with the plastic and how to heat it up and stuff. But now we're going to talk about equipment. And one of the first equipment things that you need that's important is an injector. And there's a single injector, double injectors, triple injectors, but really the most important thing is to have a single one. And they can get kind of expensive as well. I'll drop a link to the one that I have. I think it's from Bass Tackle, I want to say. But it could be from somewhere else. There's cheaper ones too. Like this one right here is a cheaper one. It's the first one I got. It's a 4-ounce one, and this one's a 6-ounce. I think this one's an 8-ounce actually. But as you can see, there's a big difference, and this one fills up a lot more molds. That one maybe fills up 1, maybe 2. But yeah, I'll drop a link for those, and the double injector as well. This one's a cheaper one right here because I don't use it a whole lot. I use it some. But I'll try to drop a link for all of those in the comments. Guys, another thing I forgot to tell you about the injectors is you're going to want a blending block if you're going to use a double injector or triple injector. You got to have something that will bring all the colors into the same mold, and that's just going to be an extra thing you need to get. There you go, that's what that looks like. But now we're going to look at other equipment that you need. Like, you're going to need cups, measuring cups. It's best to have measuring cups because they're really easy to use and go in the microwave easy, and you can measure how much plastic you use. Like if you're wanting to make like a certain recipe, write it down, certain color that you want. They're really cheap. Just you obviously can just get them at like Walmart, and as well as like mixing utensils. I use these knives right here. But also you're gonna want gloves. I usually don't wear them a whole lot. I need to wear them all the time because you're supposed to. And I just haven't learned my lesson yet, I guess, but I need to start wearing them more. And you're going to want clamps to use because you're going to have to clamp the molds down. Some molds, they'll come with screws in them, and you can screw them on, tighten them, and that'll clamp the mold itself. Like if you use Angling AI, those molds, Bass Tackle, I think they both, the ones that I'm going to prefer you to use, they're going to have something to clamp down with them. But these clamps are cheap to get, and you can find them anywhere. But this is what I'm using. This is a really long one because I've got a bunch of molds here clamped up. Let's go ahead and get some of these off in a second. But I think we're gonna look at, you're also gonna obviously need a microwave. I've got my microwave right here. It's a big microwave, but that's any microwave will work really. As far as I know. Really, only other thing I can think of at the moment is you're gonna need like measuring spoons as well for like flake, and if you wanted to do coloring, I guess. but you can mainly do like a certain amount of drops for coloring. You can use a thermometer if you want to find out the certain temperature. I usually just kind of guess at it, because after doing it for so long, or so after a while, then you kind of know what temperature what it looks like when you need to put it into the mold. But other than that, I think that's it for the equipment. Now we're going to look at colorant. All right, whenever talking about colorant, the really only thing I can tell you to use is to go to LureWorks. It's the best company that I use. It's got so many different options. I think you can get some from like Dead On Plastics. I think they have some colorant, but there's other companies you can look at too. But LureWorks is all I use for colorant and flake. This right here is a pint size, and this one is 4 ounce. There's 2 ounces, I think. And it's kind of cheap stuff. It's not like super expensive unless you buy a whole lot. But there's also flake. We got pearl color. This is pearl white right here. And then we got flake, and here's, I use big size flake. I say that's for 0.035. It's a bigger size. I think there's a little bit bigger than that too, and there's other options for flake as well. Then there's some small flake, and that is 0.05, but that's really your options there if you just go check out LureWorks. I'll put that in the description, but I think that's it for color and flake. All right, next, one more thing you're going to want to have for making your baits is whenever you're done, you're going to want to have worm oil. You can also get this from LureWorks. This is in I'm not sure what size this is, but there's a bunch of different sizes you can get them in if you're not wanting a whole lot at first. But it's really good for making them have a shiny look and making them slick, and just keeping them from bending whenever you put them in the bags. If you don't have anything on them, they're going to bend and they're going to change shape, and you're just going to have this so that won't happen in the bags. And also you're going to want to have like a scent. If you want your baits to have a scent to them, I've got these Bang crawfish formula and garlic formula, and I'll just like spray little bit into the bag, and it just works good. But those are something else you're going to want to have. I'll try to drop those in the description as well. There's actually a couple more things I'm going to show you guys before we get to the molds. One of the most important things you need to have when bait making is ventilation. You do not want to smell the fumes. You don't want to breathe them in the whole time while you're making them. I started out doing that, and it's just not good. You want to have a system where you can get the fumes out. So like as you can see here, I've got my Presto pots in here, and my ventilation goes out of the top there. I had to tape the lights back up. They're not staying, but I just plug it in and the fumes go right out. But you really want to, you can like be in a garage setting or somewhere close to a door where you can open the door at while you're making baits. But that's really something you really need to think about before you're getting into this. All right, now we're going to get to the most important thing, probably, other than plastic, is the molds. And I think I've gotten everything else so far, but really, molds, they're going to be the priciest thing that you have to buy for bait making. They can range from, the cheap ones are around $40 to expensive ones can be, I mean, depending on how many cavities, can be over $1,000 for a mold. But I'm gonna show you guys what I have. I'll tell you guys like certain companies and drop them in the description you can use. But this is what I use. But the first thing I'm gonna show you guys is the cheap kind. Like, this is the Do It molds, and I'm getting rid of these. This is the only one I have now. But these are the $40 molds. They're the cheapest ones you can get. If you're really going to get into bait making, you want to start out with these, because this is what I started out with. And you can kind of learn using these and then get up to the more expensive stuff. But one of the first companies I'll talk about is called Bass Tackle. You probably heard me talk about it before, but I'll show you guys some of the molds I have with them. And this is the Huggermite mold, 3-inch Huggermite. This is a 6 cavity mold. I think this one was like, I want to say 160. I've got 2 of these, and I really like these. They're really good. I've used them a whole lot. But again, I didn't buy all these at once. You're going to want to start out with something smaller, and then slowly like buy more expensive stuff as you get the money, or if you have the money now, just go ahead and buy them, I guess. But here's also from Bass Tackle, these grub worms right here. This is a 6 cavity as well, and I've got 2 of those. I try to make it to where everything I have, I can make at least 1 pack at a time. Eventually, I'll probably buy more and more until I can, as much as I can make at once. But here's also one more from Bass Tackle, is the Ned mold that I have, and it's a 10 cavity. But that's what I have from Bass Tackle. I'll drop the link to them in the description. You can check out, they have tons of molds to choose from. There's a lot to choose from. But also, another place that I'm going to recommend is Angling AI molds. And one right here that I have, I call it the Wiggler as I sell it, because it's a really good bait. It's a drop shot bait. Mostly people use it for that. And it's called the Action Worm, I think, on their website. And it's a really good mold. Their molds are really, really good too. And then also I've got 3 of these Angling AI 7-inch, I think they're 7.5-inch curly. All right, my video cut off there. I was talking about the 7-inch worm from Angling AI. That one's about $70, I think, that mold. So it's kind of a cheaper side of the good molds like that. So if you want to really get started, that's a good one to start with. What I'm going to talk about next is a couple molds that I got from smaller companies. One of them wasn't really a smaller company, but it's custom design molds. So like, I don't really have a description or anywhere to tell you guys to go for these, but they're really good molds. You can find a lot of different smaller companies on Facebook or online that just makes different types that most people don't have, like Angling AI, Bass Tackle. A lot of people are going to have those molds because that's the place that most people go. But here's a 14 cavity 5.25-inch stick worm. I really like this mold. It's really good, and I think that one wasn't really that expensive. It was probably around $200. But the way you can get really expensive is custom design molds, like ones that you like. This one right here is my crawl mold, and it's a 12 cavity. And let me see. I'll show you this side right here. As you can see, I've got my company letters in the claw. But this one was around $600. They can get really, really expensive fast whenever you're getting a custom design mold. But it's good to have if you're wanting to start a company. So you're gonna want to save up for stuff like that. But like I said before, they can get really expensive, but you're gonna want to start out with something cheaper, like the Do It molds, and learn how to do it and buy a little at a time. But I think that's gonna be it for the molds. We're gonna show you guys a demonstration on how to make the base. All right, when mixing it up, you're gonna kind of want to try not to splash it around and get like bubbles made into it like I did there, but I was just trying to hold the camera. But we got it poured. Whenever you put it in the microwave, you kind of get used to putting it on a certain time for a certain amount you put in there. But whenever I do about 2 cups, I'll kind of just put it on like 4 minutes and then see what it looks like and put more time if I need more. But you really can just kind of tell. You'll have to try a few times. Like, my microwave might be different than yours, but we're gonna put it in there for 4 minutes and then see what it looks like. While I wait for that to heat up, I was gonna talk about a couple of things. I was talking about the plastic having bubbles in it. Something you could buy to get the bubbles out is you can get a vacuum chamber. I've not really done that before. I've not gotten one of those, but that's something you could use if you really wanted to get into that. And another thing is you could buy salt to add to your plastic. I've heard that it's good. It's fine to use salt for certain things if you want it to sink, and it's going to make your bait heavier. So that's something you could get if you really want to do that. But I've not really done it, and you don't really have to. I mean, I've heard that the plastic that I use, it's fine without it. But that's something you could look into using. And another thing I want to talk about is bags. I know a lot of people ask me, where do you get your bags? But I just changed to new bags, and I bought these from a lady in China. I got sent her on her contact on Facebook, and I designed it myself, and then I sent it off to her, and you have to buy a minimum of 10,000 bags, so it's going to be pretty expensive if you're wanting to do that, something like that. I'm not going to like give everybody her information, but if you really wanted to, there's tons of companies that you could find that do that. But if you didn't want to do something like that where it's real expensive, there's obviously bags you could buy on different websites that you can find that are good for doing this. Just you want to have a thicker bag instead of just a regular Ziploc bag that you buy at the store. Alright, I did the 4 minutes and it still needed about a couple more minutes, but it's ready to go now, and we're gonna make cinnamon purple color. Got the Lure Works here, cinnamon. And for colorant, I used to do like 40 drops per cup. I think that's a good way to start, but now I kind of just do a certain amount and see what it looks like, and then go from there. I think I'm gonna do a little bit more. I think that should be good. We'll see though. I think we'll add maybe just a little bit more. I want to make sure it is good. Has enough. Alright, now we're going to add the purple flake to it. That looks a little better. I've got both of my purple flake here. I like to do large and small. So we're going to do, we're going to use this 1/4 of a teaspoon spoon here, 1/4 of a teaspoon. First, I'm gonna do about 2 scoops of, I do 1 scoop per cup usually. So we're gonna get 2 scoops here. Kind of spilled some. It's kind of messy, especially when you got the fan going. And then I'm really just gonna take about 1/2 spoon of the small. Whenever you're using small flake, the more it's gonna take less small flake because it's small, so it's gonna take up more room in the plastic. You're gonna need more big flake than you do small flake usually. But we got it mixed up. I think we're ready to shoot. Alright, my phone keeps cutting off, but I got the Senko mold and the Action Worm mold filled up with the big injector. Really all I was saying was you kind of want to go slow on some of them because you don't want to get any dents or bubbles in your bait. But we're going to go ahead and do the Ned mold with the small injector real quick so you guys can see me do one. There's other videos that I have posted too that you can see me doing this, but I should have enough in this small one to fill this one up. I think we did. We'll see in a few minutes if we did or not. But just make sure you top off the tops of them. It's easier to do this with the cups than it is when you got the Presto pots out because you gotta do it with the injector. But we'll wait a few minutes and we'll get back with you. Alright, we're ready to look and see what they look like. Something small though I wanted to let you guys know is like the molds, if you're going to do a lot together and they're different sizes, like the height of these are different, these are the same, you want to have something to divide them so you can be able to inject them. But that's something small. Here's the Ned worm, Ned rig. We're going to go ahead and look at this one first. There you go, that's what they look like. Looks really good. Now we're going to look at the Wiggler, the Action Worm. This one's from Angling AI. This is what these look like. Look really good. It's a flat worm. Alright, now we're going to look at the sticks. to go. 14 of them, there we go. But yeah, that's how to make fishing baits. Some cinnamon purple ones. All right, we're not quite done with the ones we just made. We're gonna hang them up. I usually hang them up on my pegboard and let them sit for at least 2 days. Most of the time I do more, but that just lets them cure and harden up and just makes them more durable. If you just put them straight up, they're gonna change shape because they're still kind of hot from being so hot in the plastic and stuff. And after they're sitting for a few days, I'm gonna show you guys what we do. I've got some Redbug sticks right here that I've done made. They've been sitting out for 3 days, I think. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys how I put them in the bag. All right, I had to go grab a bag, but what we do is we get them in the bag, and we always put this worm oil in there. I talked about it earlier. I mean, there's a certain amount of drops you can put, but I usually just put quite a bit in there. And then for the sticks, I usually put the crawfish formula. For like worms, I usually do garlic, but I just close it up and then just take it up a little bit. Then for the sticks, I just put them in the bag real good, and then close them up, and they're ready to go. That's how you do it. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for the video today. If you want to see other videos of us making the baits, you can check out our other videos. We have tons of videos of just making the baits and not really explaining everything, but we wanted to show you guys how to get into doing this. I know a bunch of people were asking me how to do it, but you can also check out our baits. We have a website, jollybaitcompany.com, and you can go on there and buy them and just see if you like them. And we got other social medias you can check out. But I know there's a lot of other experienced people watching this too, and this is really just how I got into it and what works for me. I know there's a lot of other stuff that could be good for you to do and use, and there's probably other things I could have explained better, but that's just how I do it. And y'all can just check out our other stuff, and we'll see y'all. Check out our new videos coming out soon, and we'll see y'all later.